Welcome back to another episode of the Toronto Blue Jays Sim on Out of the Park Baseball 21. I'm JayBlue. You can find me on Twitter at Jays From Away, and thanks to GM Games for hosting us here on their YouTube channel. So we are approaching the Rule 5 draft, and that is a big thing. We don't want to lose a lot of our talented players, and we have one spot on our 40-man roster, so one of the things we're going to have to do is make some space is the first thing, and the second thing is we're going to have to decide who we want to protect, who is eligible to be taken. So if you've never played the game before, you can see here anybody with this the hashtag next to their name is available to be taken in the Rule 5 draft. Basically, the way it works is any player who has signed, if they signed at 18 years old or younger, they are available after 5 years of minor league service, or if they signed at over 18 after 4 years of minor league service, or 4 seasons. So it does include their draft year. I think for the under 18s, if they're, for example, a 16-year-old international free agent, that first season, that July 2nd season where they signed, does not count. It's how many years of actually playing, and those players who sign at 16 cannot play in their first year of their signing. So what we have here is we have, what I want to do is I want to take a look at the guys who might be a little bit tempting to be taken. So someone like Zach Jackson definitely might be taken. Jackson didn't have a great year, so I'm actually probably going to leave him off. Jake Petrichka could be taken. And you know what? If somebody takes him, that's fine. Kirby Snead could be taken. He did not have a great season either. Curtis Taylor could be taken. Now, he had a very good season. I'm definitely going to want to put him on the 40-man. So here's the first guy. We're going to protect him. Ty Tice has potential, and I think I might look to make a spot for him. Riley Adams had a very poor season. Alejandro Kirk is eligible this year, so that's definitely somebody we need to make room for. And anybody else? Josh Palacios had a solid season. He was one of our better players, but I may not include him. Same thing with Forrest Wall, just because I don't think he's going to be very attractive to the clubs that might want to take him. Down here in New Hampshire, Travis Bergen, again, he had a very rough season, 30 walks in 52 innings. Jake Brentz, again, I don't think he's going to get selected in the Rule 5 draft. Zach Logue, Turner Larkins, PJ Poulin, Julian Fernandez might. So I'm definitely thinking about creating a spot for him. So that gives us 2 spots. We also have Gabriel Moreno that we need a spot for. He's another guy who I don't want to gamble with it. He had a solid season in high A. Not the type of guy that generally gets taken, but I don't want to chance it too much. The rest of these guys, I'm not too worried about getting selected. If we go down to Dunedin, again, these first few guys, I don't think Simeon Woods Richardson has been around long enough. You can always check and see if they are, Rule 5 draft eligibility, he's not eligible. So his name is so long we can't see, whether he has that hashtag next to him. Anybody else here, really, what you're looking for is a guy who can contribute to a major league team, because, of course, the Rule 5 draft rules are if you select a player, he has to stay on your major league roster for an entire season, or he gets returned to his original team. And so, again, not really many candidates here in Dunedin. Just looking at Lansing quickly, he's injured. He's not going to get selected. Reuter Hernandez is, you don't want to take a guy who is in Lansing, who is in A-ball, because then you have to have a guy who has no experience above A-ball on your major league roster. So generally, you're not looking for anybody who has played or who hasn't played, in Double A or so. Like A-ball is high A is generally the only one. So here in the Vancouver roster, we just have a few guys, and none of them are particularly enticing. If we go down to Bluefield, again, we have a few people who have eligibility, but again, nobody here who is really a lock to get picked. So we probably have about 3 spots on our 40-man roster that we want to clear out. Now, the other issue is that you cannot select anyone unless you have room on your 40-man roster. So we can clear out some room, and I want to have at least one free spot on the 40-man. So we need to clear out about 4 spots right now to make room for, it's going to be Alejandro Kirk. It's going to be maybe Josh Palacios. I haven't decided on that, but Gabriel Moreno and Julian Fernandez. We need 4 spots free to be able to select somebody in the Rule 5 draft this year. So who am I going to? I'm not going to get rid of Zach Eflin because I just signed him. Thomas Hatch, I'm wondering, I don't think I can put him on the 60-man injured list. Yeah, I can't do that. So who do I remove? Well, Thomas Pannone is definitely one. So he is off the 40-man roster. I'm definitely thinking about removing TJ Zoik. Zoik is, I think he's pretty much hit his ceiling. He's not going to get very much better. A little bit more movement, but that's a bit about it. And his curveball and changeup can get a little better. So I'm going to remove TJ Zoik. Former first rounder for the Blue Jays. He has fallen out of favor. So that's 2 spots. Then we have Tim Meza. Again, I'd love to be able to put Meza on the 60-day injured list, but that can't happen. Hector Perez is going to be removed. He did not have a strong year. So we've already added Curtis Taylor, and that's our first guy. Danny Jimenez stays on. We only have 1 catcher, so we're going to actually add 2 catchers in this, so that's not going to be a problem. And then we have a whole bunch of outfielders, and Yusniel Diaz. He is a guy that we acquired in that trade with Baltimore. So JD Martinez is still around. I'm also going to see if I can shop him a little bit. But basically, we have too many outfielders just in general. So I'm going to remove Jonathan Davis. So now we have Lourdes Gurriel, who's going to be our everyday left fielder. Teoscar Hernandez really did not have a good season in the majors last year. J.D. Martinez, his stats were somewhat redeemable, but definitely not worth what we were paying for him. Randall Grichok had a very strong season. A little bit, fairly in line, but with a little bit more power than what we've seen from him. Yusniel Diaz, he's got some potential, and I like the fact that he's got a little bit more room here in the contact. He's still 24, which means that he's not too old to improve anymore. His Baltimore stats were solid, very nice to see there, and looking over here, we do have option years, so we can't send Diaz down to the minors. So I do like keeping him on the roster right now. We also still have Derek Fisher and Billy McKinney. McKinney performed quite well in Toronto. I'm actually quite happy with how he did. He produced 1.4 WAR. And at least league average stats here. So Billy McKinney, decent all-around player, and I like him as a backup outfielder. Ideally, again, we'd love to have a center fielder. I mean, Diaz can play center field, and he's got some decent attributes, and I may play him there a lot in spring training. But I wouldn't mind maybe exploring some trades for guys like Teoscar Hernandez, because he's not going to play a lot with this configuration. And let's actually see, before we do anything else, I'm actually going to see if we can shop around JD Martinez. And I'm just going to shop him and see if we get any offers. It doesn't look like it. That's pretty fast. And we got Will Myers, who's making even more money than he is. So, and didn't hit as well. So at least JD Martinez can offer us somebody, it can offer some offense. If I offer up Teoscar Martinez. Let's see if he gets anybody interested. Yeah, he's going to get a couple of offers back. You can usually see, you know, they're creating pictures for players who are being offered to us. So it's actually quite a lot. So there's quite a lot of guys here. Now we could use a center fielder. I mean, Jake Cave. We're getting very similar offers to what we had for Reese McGuire, I think. Some of the players are going to be the same, like Dansby Swanson. Again, $4 million, that's not crazy by any stretch of the imagination. And we have a ton of outfielders. Swanson is quite intriguing. Now, he can only play shortstop, and we've got Bo Bichette. And if we try to compare him with Bo Bichette, so we're going to compare, and we're going to select Toronto players, Bo Bichette. So clearly, you know, potential rating, there's no contest here. I mean, Swanson is just not going to really make it as a really great hitter, and Bo Bichette has just so much to offer. So obviously he's not going to be an upgrade there, and so I don't want to make that trade. Back here, a couple pitchers, and in fact, I wouldn't be averse to trading for a pitcher. Nathan Eovaldi, he's got a lot of money on his contract. I'd like to find a cheaper pitcher. We have here Reynaldo Lopez, who the White Sox are offering. Again, that low movement is a bit of a turnoff. So let's keep looking through here. Kevin Kiermaier, again, is being offered. TJ Antone, he's got low movement. Jose De Leon, again, low movement rating. We're trying to keep that movement rating above 45 or get guys with as high a movement rating as we can. So this guy, Spencer Turnbull, I think I was looking at him before when we were offering Reese McGuire. He had a decent season in Toledo. Good strikeouts. I like to see that strikeout number. Good walks. Not a ton of home runs. Let's do it. Let's pull the trigger. Just going to do a quick check. Jacob Robson is a center fielder, but he doesn't have a ton of, hitting potential or hitting ability right now. Glenn Sparkman was actually in the Blue Jays system. He was a Rule 5 draftee a couple years ago and didn't stick with the Blue Jays. We have Victor Gonzalez here, 55, 50, 50. Not great numbers here in Oklahoma City. It's a tough league for pitchers. We also have Denis Santana, 55, 45, 50 potential, and Tony Gonsolin. Now, he's got good stuff, but may not have the ability to really pitch that well. Here, again, lack of control is going to hold him back, I think. Jordan Montgomery, not really the stuff that we're looking for. Okay, we're going to make this trade. We're going to go back to where is Spencer Turnbull. We're going to make that trade. And this is a fine trade, and everybody's like, yeah, whatever. So let's do that trade. Okay, so now we're going to go here, and we're going to go to our waivers DFA, and we have Spencer Turnbull. He's going to get added to our active roster. And then we go to our overview, and we're going to add to our active roster. So we have 36. We're adding 3 players. We are adding Alejandro Kirk. We are adding Gabriel Moreno. I just want to check something here. Yeah, he doesn't have that red downwards arrow. We're going to add him to the secondary roster, and we're going to add Julian Fernandez to our secondary roster. And that's it. So now we have one spot here for the Rule 5 draft, and we're going to sim now. And we're going to continue to the Rule 5 draft. And, of course, it's probably going to stop us for messages, things like that. So Colorado has claimed. So, actually, a lot of these guys have gotten claimed. TJ, everybody has gotten claimed that we have put on waivers. TJ Zoik, Jonathan Davis. I mean, it does tell you that it's a fairly deep system if our guys are so in demand. Minnesota, Colorado just claiming everybody. Chicago claiming TJ Zoik. The Chicago White Sox are offering us Reynaldo Lopez. You know, he's a guy that I think we saw in that list of players who were going to be offered to us when we offered Teoscar Hernandez, and again that movement rating is very low. And they want our Alfredo Chacon. He's the international free agent we signed this year, and they want Emmanuel Vizcaíno. That's not gonna happen. Sorry guys, we're gonna go reject trade. All right, the winter meetings and Jake Odorizzi signs. Anything else that really is pertaining to us? No. So we're going to sim to the Rule 5 draft. And we have a couple of messages here. So we've got the claims of all of our guys. Minnesota took both Pannone and... they took three guys. They took Pannone, Perez, and Jonathan Davis, and then Chicago. And this is the... I'm just checking to see if it's the White Sox. Yeah, it's the White Sox who claimed TJ Zoik. All right, so we're going to sim to the Rule 5 draft. And one of the kind of crazy things is you have to go up here to get to the Rule 5 draft. Now, if you want to sim it, the way they do in online leagues, you would go to the draft pool and then create your draft lists, where it says here... oh, that's interesting. It doesn't say draft list. You might have to go to Rule 5 draft. Anyway, so we're going to go to the draft, and I just want to check out the player pool and see who is who's available. And I usually sort by overall ability, and we got to go all the way up to the top. So we've got a couple closers here. Ben Bowden is 26. So these are some older guys. But Bowden definitely could be a useful pitcher. Connor Jones could be a useful closer. He's got great movement, and that's, you know, ground ball pitcher, some decent stuff potential. When they get to about 26, I kind of say, okay, they're probably going to be what they are. Now, he's pitched only just a little bit in AAA, and he's had issues with his control, so I don't think I would go with Jones. We have 30-year-old Bruce Rondon. I'm not going to take a 30-year-old. Addison Russ. Not bad, but I wouldn't, you know, use a Rule 5 pick on somebody like that. Chance Adams, 26 years old. He's coming out of AAA. He's had a whole season in AAA. Again, the movement is a little low for my taste. Yadier Alvarez. Now, he's a 24-year-old Cuban, but the control is just not there. Cody Anderson, 30 years old. So, again, we're looking for younger guys like this guy, Pedro Avila. And Pedro Avila, again, not a super sexy profile there. Danny Barnes, former Blue Jay. Manny Banuelos, another 29-year-old. So, again, we don't want guys who are too old. Now, this is just pitchers. Let's look at batters. We have shortstop Stephen Alamei. So, he's coming from AAA. For some reason, he is on the Angels Arizona League team, but he spent last year in AAA. Again, not a very inspiring, but he's a phenomenal fielder. So he would be a great guy to have around as a, a good glove, no bat type of infielder. TJ Friedel, he's actually a formerly high prospect. Not a lot of power and not a great profile for an everyday player. You do want to have a guy, if you're going to take somebody, I think, you know, to me, like Riley Adams, he's one of our guys that we've left off. He had a horrible season, and I'm not sure why he's so highly rated. He may get taken, but unless he really improves, it's not going to be much of a loss. Now, here we have a center fielder who has fringe all over him. He's only played at high A. So, yeah, there's a lot of guys here, but not a lot of guys who are really worthwhile looking at. So away we go into the Rule 5 draft. So we're going to auto draft for Baltimore. And Baltimore, I don't think took anybody. We're going to have Seattle. And Seattle did take left fielder Brian O'Grady. We're going to have Miami. Miami took catcher Pedro Severino. And Texas. Texas didn't take anybody. So we're going to just go overall. Also want to look at potential, see if there's anybody really with great potential. Now, Luis Garcia. Again, it's not our turn yet. Now, Luis Garcia is a guy I could definitely select. He's only 20, and he's played in Double-A, and he's done very well in Double-A. He's got decent fielding, and we could stash him on our team. And he's got enough contact ability to make him less of a liability than someone who hasn't developed that contact. Now, I'd love to see that eye really develop a little more. So he's going to be tops on my list if he's still around. So Pittsburgh is next. Pittsburgh doesn't take anyone. Detroit takes second base Carlos Asuaje. Philadelphia doesn't take anyone. Kansas City takes Stephen Alamei. He was a shortstop we were looking at. Chicago takes catcher Yermin Mercedes. Colorado doesn't take anyone. The Chicago White Sox doesn't take anyone. The Boston Red Sox don't take anyone. Milwaukee Brewers. Nobody for the Brewers. For the Washington Nationals, nobody. The Arizona Diamondbacks don't take anyone. Cincinnati Reds, nobody. The New York Yankees. I keep forgetting we finished higher than the New York Yankees. They didn't take anyone either. San Francisco and Atlanta. Okay, nobody's taken anybody for a while. Here's the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it's our turn. I'm going to ask the scouting director for a recommendation. He says Cooper Hummel, a catcher who is 26. Let's see what Cooper Hummel. Yeah, again, good eye. So he could actually be somewhat useful. He's spent a lot of time in AAA at 399, but very weak catching ratings and, not great defensive. So he's pretty much useless. I'm going to take Luis Garcia. He's still around. And so we're going to draft Luis Garcia. And that's the only thing we can do because we don't have any more selections. So we're going to complete the draft. All right, and this is the summary of the Rule 5 draft. Only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players taken. Really a very inactive Rule 5 draft. All right, so we've gotten through that. Now I'm just going to double check that I don't have to do anything with waivers DFA. Nope, he's already on our 40-man roster, and he'll get an invite to spring training. So when we do spring training, anybody on the 40-man roster will get a invitation, and anybody else we want to invite, we can do that. That's a relatively new thing for this the OOTP. All right, so we're going to move along. We're going to finish today. I just want to check out the free agents, see if we have any outstanding offers. We do. We have outstanding offers to Matt Boyd, to Kazue Tsutsumi, and to Paulo Usting. So we have a couple of contracts out there. So let's, sim a little bit. I don't know why they constantly want me to review the rotation. So we're just going to autoplay for a week. And nothing has happened. I'm going to go to the free agent screen, see if anything has changed with any of these free agents. They all favor the offer. So that's, good. They're just probably waiting to see if they're going to get another offer. All right, so we do have a personal message now. Matt Boyd has signed, and so have Tsutsumi and Usting. Usting, now, he's 26. I'm going to put him in Double-A to start. Tsutsumi is 29. I'm going to put him on the Buffalo roster. And here's Matt Boyd. So Matt Boyd is going to have to be put onto the 40-man. Pitching staff. I'm going to go to rosters and transactions. So our 40-man is full, which means we're going to have to create some room. So that's going to mean taking somebody off the 40-man roster. And Spencer Turnbull, right, we got him back in that trade. Tanner Roark was pretty untradeable. And so now we just have to choose who is going to get taken off. And I think I'm leaning towards Jacob Wagaspak. We're really remaking that roster. I'm leaning towards Jacob Wagaspak. The only other option could be to try to trade somebody here, like maybe a Derek Fisher, who, I mean, he had a fairly strong season, and he's got a lot of defensive flexibility. So I'm going to try to see if anybody wants him. I'm going to try to retain 10% of his salary, and I just want prospects. And it doesn't look like there's going to be much, if anything, coming back here. No, there's nothing. J.D. Martinez is not. J.D. Martinez is not very attractive right now. But it does. I'm very tempted to try to trade Randall Grichok. I'm gonna think about that. So for now, I'm going to just remove Jacob Wagaspak. We're probably going to lose him. He's not a bad pitcher, but I think we're going to lose him. So now we're going to go to the waivers, and Matt Boyd gets placed on our 40-man, and he'll get placed on the active roster as well. Okay, here we go, and we're going to sim to next week. And another personal message, and Oakland has claimed Wagaspak, of course. And we're going to just do another sim, and I have a feeling they're going to stop us when that claim is executed. Yep, Oakland claim is executed. We do have a lot of young players that people really want to see. So it's not a bad thing. It's just that. And Trevor Bauer settles on Colorado. All right, so where are we here in terms of the date? We're at December 28th. So we're just going to sim until January, and then we are going to go end our episode. It's going to be a shorter episode, and the next one is going to take us into spring training. All right, so thanks a lot to everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'm JayBlue at Jays From Away, www.bluejaysfromaway.com, and thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much to GM Games for hosting us. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon when we get the 2021 season for the Toronto Blue Jays here at Out of the Park Baseball 21 underway in our next episode.